Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie. Warner Anderson as Matthew Swain. Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi. And Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie.
Locked up in the state prison is a convict named Elliot Carson. And locked up within Elliot Carson is a secret which could shatter the lives of Constance and Allison Mackenzie.
Hello, Mr. Swain.
Hello, Elliot. How are you?
Hopeful.
Think you'll get your parole this time?
Well, my lawyer and I have been over it about 100 times, Mr. Swain.
And your lawyer feels you have everything the parole board will need?
Everything. Medical report, prison psychiatrist report, good time record. Good time. 18 years.
You can't get them back, can you?
No.
Are you going to try?
You think I killed my wife, Mr. Swain?
All the parole board wants from me is my opinion as to whether
I can safely return to Peyton Place.
or anywhere else.
You think I killed my wife?
The jury thought so.
If you were on that jury?
I wasn't.
If you had been? You've had a long trip, Mr. Swain. You have things to find out. Now, ask all the real questions.
You know, I'm looking at you, I'm talking to you, and I'm not sure that I know you.
You remember those letters I used to write from aboard ship? Our boy in the Navy. You still have those copies of the Clarion?
They're in the files.
You have them then?
Yes.
Remember them?
Yes, I think so.
What did they tell you about me?
You used to be such a fine boy, Elliot.
Until I lay in a lifeboat for 32 days? Until I came back to Peyton Place and found out that my wife was... Until I murdered my wife?
What do you hope to do now?
I'm going to find the man who killed her. Why don't you say it?
Why don't I say if there was such a man?
Yes,
If there was such a man.
there is. There is.
Do you know who it is?
No,
Do you have any idea?
but he's there.
In Peyton Place.
Why not? I'm going to work in my father's chandler's shop. I do need a means of support. Tired?
I am today. There are other people who'll be affected, Elliot.
I don't think of her anymore. Constance Mackenzie.
The town believes her husband died.
I know.
She has a daughter,
Allison.
Allison Mackenzie.
Allison Mackenzie. Here she writes a column for your paper.
Yes, she does.
Not our boy in the Navy.
No, Elliot. Those letters that you wrote from the Navy, I always had high hopes that you might write a book, a big book.
So did I.
You had talent.
Does she?
Yes, she has the talent. Also, she's very, very sensitive. And very, very vulnerable.
Matt, you're not going to... Matt, you won't try to keep me away from Peyton Place, will you?
Has the building just burned down?
Rodney.
I thought it was you back here. I heard waves of concentration.
I have to do a paper.
Me too. Rousseau.
The Elizabethan Theater.
How are you?
I'm all right. You?
Okay.
Got to get to work.
Oh, fascinating. Fascinating. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Got to do this paper.
You know, when I was a kid, I used to spend a lot of time here. Throwing spitballs, writing notes to girls.
I know. I used to watch you.
Did you?
Oh, look. Mark. They always hoped you'd write them one.
Dad would send you a note.
No.
Yeah? Sorry this is so late.
No, I don't want it.
It's better than a spitball.
No, Rodney.
Hey.
Rodney, we're too old now.
Are we, Allison?
Yes, that and everything else.
What's the matter?
Goodbye, Rodney.
Allison? Got your purse. Listen, you go back and study.
Oh, that's all right.
No, go on, please.
No, I can study at home.
Allison.
What was in the note?
Pretty wicked, huh? You know what, I guess I just wanted to talk to someone.
Hello, Rod. Allison?
Hello, Mr. Anderson.
Oh, been to the library, have you?
Yes, we...
Yeah. Yeah, we've been to the library.
How's Betty, Rod?
Oh, she's okay, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson. I'm your father-in-law, Rod. It sounds strange to have your son-in-law call you Mister. Wouldn't you say so, Allison?
I don't know, Mr. Anderson.
Why don't you try calling him George? Go ahead, try it. Say, hello, George.
We said hello.
Yeah, I guess we did.
Well, goodbye, Mr. Anderson.
Bye, Mr. Anderson.
Goodbye, Allison.
Sorry if that embarrassed you.
Oh, no, it didn't embarrass me. He's always been a funny man.
He was drinking.
In the afternoon?
People do, Allison.
Poor Betty.
Yes, I know Betty hasn't had it easy. But none of us did.
How's that?
Maybe it's not supposed to be so easy. Oh, she's
You can always throw spitballs.
writing notes to girls.
You had a look out on that square?
No.
Well, you better take a look. That fine young son-in-law of yours is up to something with Allison Mackenzie.
Small town, George. People meet.
Get Betty on the phone. Well, go on, get her.
What do you mean, why? She better do something.
Eddie knows her marriage is falling apart. We don't have to tell her.
Well, you're just on the phone.
Jan.
Goodbye. All right, I'll do it myself. What's the use? She wouldn't understand either. She'd say it was all my fault. She'd hear.
Ride home?
No, thanks.
Why? Because of Peyton's place.
Because I'd rather not.
All right.
There's some messages.
Oh, forget the messages. I'm tired.
Time.
All right, so I had a few drinks. You can't sell insurance over a cup of coffee. Fraser wanted to belt a few. What's wrong with that?
Mr. Fraser called a half an hour ago to apologize for not meeting you.
All right, I needed a few drinks. Fraser didn't show. What was I supposed to do? Come back here and sharpen pencils?
No.
Did Fraser say why he didn't show?
He said it slipped his mind.
Slipped his mind. Yeah, that's the story of old Georgie Porgy nowadays. I keep slipping people's minds. Fraser's mind, Betty's mind. I could slip your mind real easily now, couldn't I? Now that Les Harrington's available.
That's not true.
Oh, please, put the bills away.
They have to be paid.
You don't have to remind me of that.
George.
Please, Julie. My head is ready to pop.
I'll get you a pill.
No, I've been taking them all day.
When did it start, George?
Oh, this morning, yesterday, I don't know.
Just lean back and relax.
Oh, yeah, that's the cure. That's the best cure in the world.
Feels better.
Oh, sure, sure.
George, maybe you should go see Dr. Rossi.
What for? You're better than any doctor.
No, I'm serious, George. I worry about you when you get these spells.
They're not spells. It's just tension, honey, just tension.
All right, call it tension, but if you go see
What
Dr.
do I want to see Rossi for? To get passed on to some Boston psychiatrist? Or maybe you want to see old George put away somewhere. Is that the idea? Huh? You want to see Georgie retired? Is that it, Julie?
Let go of me, George.
Answer me, honey.
George, please.
What's the matter, baby?
Honey, it's hurting.
Then I could slip your mind completely, couldn't I?
George, please.
What's the matter?
Please.
Huh?
You're hurting me, George.
Eddie?
Hello, Rod.
How are you?
All right, I guess.
Did you do anything today?
Not much. I read mostly.
Well, you're awfully quiet.
I guess I don't have much to say.
Okay, Betty, let's get it over with. What's your father told you?
My father.
Speedy George, your friend and counselor. I'll bet he was at that phone 2 minutes after he saw us.
Us?
Me, Allison. Figured you'd be in consultation with your Boston lawyer by now.
My father hasn't called all day.
Oh, come on.
He hasn't, Rod.
Well, that's a switch. I'm sorry. I guess I needed that. Look, I just happened to run into it at the library, that's all.
I think you would have told me anyway, Rod, somehow.
Well, you gave me such a stone face, I figured he'd called.
Even if my father hasn't seen you, it's a game married people play with each other. It's called slow murder, or I'm going to be honest with you, darling.
I guess we're really starting to learn the ropes, aren't we, Betty? I did just run into her, you know.
Don't worry, I'm not going to touch you. I'm through humiliating myself and you. If I was wearing a stone face when you came in, Well, I've been doing a lot of thinking today.
About us?
Yes. It's not a question of Allison anymore, or Boston lawyers, or your father, or mine. It's just a question of you and me. Not just the things we've done to each other, or the things we feel for each other, too. If I gave you a divorce or you walked out, it still wouldn't be over with. It's true, isn't it? Rod, what's wrong? Are you afraid of what you feel?
I just couldn't let her go. I kept squeezing her tighter and tighter. I wanted to make her cry. I figured I'd better get over here right away.
And I'm glad you did, George.
Maybe I ought to check in somewhere before they come and drag me away.
Well, I'm not a psychiatrist. I can only send you to one.
Well, I came to you as a friend. You know what I mean?
I am a friend, George.
What do you think a psychiatrist would tell me?
If I could answer that, then you wouldn't have to go to one.
Well, make a guess. But go on. You're an educated man. Look, you've got my whole history right here. My age, weight, my childhood diseases.
George, psychiatry is a specialty. The mind's a complicated mechanism. They have learned a great deal about it.
Yeah, maybe they've learned too much about it. Why make it so complicated? It's like I told Julie, it's just tension.
George, you're on the brink of helping yourself. Don't back away from it now.
I'm not backing away. Look, Doctor, when you stop to think about it, you and I both have the same problem.
How's that?
We are suffering from Peyton Place. You're trying to build a practice, and I am trying to build a business. They won't let us do it. We're both sitting in empty offices. They won't even let us breathe.
They?
They, the Leslie Harringtons, the Dr. Mortons. I mean, they suspended your hospital privileges. Eh? Why?
Well, they feel I made a serious mistake.
No, sir. That's not it. No. Even if you did, I personally don't think that you did. Other doctors have made mistakes. No, sir. They don't want you around here, Doctor. You're an outsider. You don't belong.
Well, I appreciate your concern, George.
You are in my camp, whether you like the idea or not. They may not be as fancy as I have learned to Clinton camp, but, buddy boy, your tent is pitched right next to mine.
How long have you been on tranquilizers, George?
Oh, quite some time now. What's wrong?
Nothing, man.
You see something there, Doctor. What is it?
You've been on tranquilizers for 4 years, George. It seems like if they could have solved your problem, they would have by now.
Well, they help. They help.
I recommended a psychiatrist to you.
For now, just give me some pills.
George, don't keep putting it off.
I'm not
I mean, another setback, another quarrel with Julie,
Listen, Doctor.
George!
Don't press me. Just don't press me. Everybody else is on my back. You stay off.
All right. All right, I'll give you some medication.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell at you like that. It's just been that kind of a day, you know what I mean? Look, Doctor, I know you mean well. But
One. And only one, when you need it.
thank you.
George, don't wait too long.
Yeah, all right, I'll come back real soon, and we'll have a nice long talk, all right? Thank you, Doctor.
Laura, would you come in, please?
Yes, Mark?
Laura, I noticed something here in Mr. Anderson's history. An appendectomy. It was performed by Dr. Bradley. Bradley's a pathologist.
Oh, but originally he was a surgeon. When Donald was alive, he worked with him.
Well, when did Bradley make the change?
4 or 5 years ago. Why?
It's curious, huh?
He left Peyton Place, went to Florida for a while. When he came back, Dr. Morton made him head of pathology.
Well, he would have been late in in his 40s by then. I mean, it's kind of late to start a specialty. Why would a surgeon suddenly go into pathology? I'm going to go to the hospital. Dr. Bradley will have to see me this time.
Mike, aren't you hounding this man?
Maybe I am. My hospital privileges were suspended on the basis of an autopsy Dr. Bradley performed. He performed it when I was absent. Then he followed that by destroying the tissues. Why? I'll be at the hospital.
Dr. Bradley. Tell him I'm in a meeting. Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt your meeting, Doctor.
Look, Dr. Rossi.
Doctor, I don't like to act like this, but you've been avoiding me. Why?
The results of the autopsy were unequivocal. Your diagnosis was incorrect. Dr. Morton's was correct.
I still question the way in which the autopsy was performed. Alone, peremptorily. Dr. Scribner informs me that's not the ordinary procedure.
In my opinion, Dr. Scribner, like you, lacks the experience to make such an appraisal.
Well, how much experience do you need, Doctor? I mean, you had no rights to destroy those test tissues.
Doctor, I resent your implication.
Why? You say we lack experience. All right, if I made a mistake in the case, I should be shown the evidence of it, for reference in future cases.
This is not a training program.
Dr. Bradley, I understand you were formerly in surgery. Surely you must realize how important this is to me.
Dr. Rossi, there are other fields of medicine and other places to practice.
Did you find it so easy to give up surgery?
I developed rheumatoid arthritis in my wrists. I had to give it up.
Oh, I see.
Have you been making inquiries about me, Dr. Rossi?
No, not exactly. You were listed as the performing surgeon in one of my patient's records. I asked the nurse about it.
Laura Brooks?
Yes.
Dr. Rossi, I think you and I have nothing further to discuss.
Well, I think we have a great deal to discuss, Doctor. And I warn you, if I can't discuss it with you or Dr. Morton or someone here at the hospital, I'm going to have to take it to a higher authority.
That's your choice. I have work to do. Good day, Dr. Rossi.
We both know you're lying.
Get me Dr. Morton. Now, cancel that call. Do you have a number for Laura Brooks? Her home or office, I don't care which. Well, look for it. I need it immediately.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
Did I tell you anything?
Yes.
Told me something, too. Allison.
Where are you, Dad?
Right here.
Sure you have, Julie. Sure you have. Liar.
You want me to be a good boy.
I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I said don't push.
Are you getting ready to tell me I don't belong in Peyton Place?